What's good everyone on YouTube, it's me again back with another video, and we're back to doing these afterwear reviews because as you've probably noticed, I'm running low on new shoes to talk about. And for this particular review, this is a shoe that I distinctly remember seeing a long time ago, I'm pretty sure back in like 2016, 2017, and thinking it was one of the ugliest shoes I've ever seen. But if you guys remember, I'll probably throw a link up to my original review of this shoe. Many years later, I came around to the design of this shoe and actually found it to be quite a unique silhouette, very unique silhouette, and I actually ended up really warming up to the design. And surprisingly enough, even though I bought other shoes from the Adidas Rick Owens collection, turns out this is the one that I ended up actually wearing the most, which really sort of shocked me because I was a huge fan of the level runners, but I just found myself always wanted to wear these instead. So if I had to combine all the times I've worn this shoe, it's probably been about a month of wear on this shoe. And I believe with the month of wear, I figured out what I like about this shoe and what I don't like about this shoe. So as you guys have probably figured out, we're talking about the Rick Owens runner, also known as the Vicious Runner, which is because this was the first runway show that the shoe was ever featured on. And I got the triple black colorway, and yeah, let's just take a look at what the shoe looks like today. So this is how the shoe looks like today, and pretty much that's what you're going to expect with any sort of triple black shoe. Not much is going to change. The upper itself is slightly creased up, but it is a nice leather, so there really isn't any visible dirt marks or scuffs or scratches on it. Moving down to the midsole, there definitely are some noticeable creases, which is probably something I'll mention in the cons. And the outsole still has its pretty typical sawtooth outsole. There's a little bit of chipping, which I'll probably mention further on in the video. But overall, as overall aesthetic and like how you would see it from straight out of the box versus now, this really is pretty much how I remember it. So that's probably going to be a good point, but we'll first get into the pros of this shoe. Psych, before we get into the pros though, because I need to better promote my stuff, I'm actually running a giveaway on my 100th video super subscriber special, and that giveaway goes live once we hit 1,000 subscribers, so be sure to subscribe to the channel, check out that video and leave a comment, and that's pretty much how you enter the giveaway. So yeah, go check that out, and let's actually get into the pros of this shoe, or whatever they want to call it. But my first pro for this shoe would actually be the comfort. So while the shoe doesn't use any proprietary technology like boost or adiprene or like bounce technology, overall it's actually quite a comfortable ride. Despite the fact that you've got this split in the midsole, you don't actually notice it while it's on feet. That was one thing I was a little bit fearful of, that like maybe my arches will sink into this gap. But the shoe's built very sturdily between the two sections, so it really helps to support your foot and hold it up. That's a nice hand gesture. And the foam that they've used on this is firm but soft enough that it's pretty good for all day walking. The main thing I'd probably say about this is it's actually quite a lightweight shoe despite its strange looks. And the leather upper itself is very nice and bends quite nicely around the foot. It's quite a warm shoe, but overall the flexibility is not an issue. And this heel area has this really nice cupping around your Achilles. So all these things combine together to make this a surprisingly comfortable shoe. So that would be my first pro for this shoe. The comfort is actually above average for what I would consider to be something comfortable. I'm probably running at the mouth, and I should probably move on to the next point. My second pro for this shoe, and this could be considered a con depending on who you are, is just how unique the silhouette is. So when you look at this shoe, it's really quite interesting in terms of the extended proportions we have. We've got this extended tongue that goes quite high up, and this kind of reminds me a lot of Rick Owens' Geo basket. And then obviously we've got the split heel, and this back heel unit is quite wide and it extends very far out from the rest of the shoe. And I know many people have compared this to like a horse hoof shoe, and they're not wrong, I can definitely see that. But we've also got in the forefoot a kind of bulbous sort of shape, and overall just like the proportions on this shoe is quite unconventional and very weird. And what's crazy to me is that Adidas actually signed off on something like this. I feel like at the time that this shoe released, Adidas was letting people play around really heavily with some of their silhouettes. Another notable person I remember would be like the Jeremy Scott. Adidas shoes with like the big wings and like the teddy bears and whatnot. They were definitely not my thing. And then we had Rick Owens, which started off really strong and really in your face with this vicious runner, or just runner, where we've got a split sole design and an extended tongue. And I just really like the fact that something like this was allowed by Adidas and this thing even exists. While Adidas these days, I don't feel like I'm pushing any crazy silhouettes, at least to my memory. I'm glad this happened. So that would be my second pro for this shoe. The overall silhouette is just super unique. My third pro for this shoe is the low maintenance nature of this shoe. Now this is very specifically because it's the triple black colorway, but this particular shoe in triple black, combined with the fact that it is primarily a leather upper, really makes it so that you can wear this in pretty much any condition and the shoe will come out the other side looking pretty much the same. I definitely know while like white knit shoes look really nice, the second you get any dirt on it, it's pretty much game over. But because we've got a pretty strong black leather upper and the midsole itself uses a foam that doesn't seem to soak up dirt. This is a shoe that I've worn pretty carefree and it's come out the other side looking pretty much how I remember. I've worn this in the rain, I've worn this on like dewy grass before, and occasionally things may stick to it. All you need to do is give it a tiny wipe and this shoe will be looking pretty much ready to go straight out from your last wear. I was going to say straight out of the box, but this has been out of the box for a while. So that would be my third pro for this shoe. The low maintenance of this shoe makes it a pretty easy shoe to throw on and be carefree with. And if you've been enjoying today's video, be sure to leave a like down below. And if you happen to own this shoe, let me know what your pros and cons would be for this shoe. And with that, we'll get on to the cons of the shoe. So my first con for this shoe would actually be the midsole foam quality. Now, I did mention in the earlier section that the comfort of it is quite nice, but just in terms of the aesthetic and the way it wears, it doesn't seem to be the highest quality foam. So around the heel section, you'll notice there is very intense creasing, and these creases are pretty much unavoidable. I've heard a hairdryer method can sort of bring these creases out, but they will immediately come back as soon as you wear them. And just near where the midsole touches the ground, it's chewed up quite badly and it seems to have like flaked off quite a bit. Then moving to the forefoot, there's a part of the midsole that creeps up onto the leather upper, and this is actually split away from the leather upper, so it's not really nice to see that happening already, especially when you consider what the retail price of this shoe would have been. I didn't pay retail for these, but overall I'd just say for something of this, I guess, prestige and quality, I would have expected the midsole foam to be a little better. So that would be my first con for this shoe. The midsole quality and construction isn't really up to par. My second con for this shoe would be the rubber compound that they use on the outsole. Now, the traction pattern itself is pretty good, and because it's quite vicious, it grips onto surfaces pretty well. But the actual rubber itself seems to have a weird plasticky feel to it. It's noticeable near the toe where it hasn't worn out yet, but you can see it has a bit of a sheen to it. And the sheen doesn't bother me, but what really bothers me about this midsole compound is it seems to be almost brittle. So around the heel section, you can see where the sawtooth is sort of worn away down into flatter sections. Now that kind of looks like it's just worn down, but I do remember within like the first couple of days of wearing, those little triangular areas were actually chipping off. Now that the rubber is sort of fitted more to how I walk, it doesn't seem to be doing the chipping anymore, but I am kind of worried as to the longevity of this rubber if it can chip off that quickly from a few days of wear. So that would be my second con for the shoe. The outsole sort of compound doesn't seem to be all that nice and grippy, and well, it is grippy because of the traction pattern, but in terms of its durability, ugh. My final con for this shoe would just be, at the retail price, this shoe is just way too expensive. So when these shoes initially released, I'm pretty sure they weren't as expensive as mainline Rick Owens stuff, but they were definitely way more expensive than any of Adidas's previous collaboration stuff. The highest priced collaboration thing I would usually expect is something like a Yeezy 700 or like a Pharrell NMD, around like the 380 to 400 Australian dollar price tag. But for this particular shoe, I remember seeing some listings, and these were apparently retail listings, for close to around 600 Australian dollars. And for 600 Australian dollars, considering that you're not getting any proprietary sort of technology, and it's primarily just constructed like another sort of Adidas shoe, except with some unique midsole construction, it really wouldn't justify such a high price tag. Now I get like paying for that price, you're sort of paying for the design as well. But when you start reaching those prices, you suddenly have access to a bunch of different shoes. And honestly, for most people, this isn't the shoe that they would decide to spend $600 on. And I don't blame them. I definitely wouldn't pay $600 for these. And in fact, the only reason I ended up picking these up and giving them a chance was because they ended up going on sale pretty much close to around like a Yeezy 350 sort of price. And considering that 350s are everywhere, and I like to wear shoes sometimes that people don't have, this is definitely a shoe that I don't see anyone wearing these days. So for that price point, around the $300 mark, that's kind of like what I expect to be like Adidas collaboration prices. But if we're talking about the original price for these, that is definitely a huge con in my opinion. So that's my third and final con. The price of this at the retail price is just too damn high. And we've made it 3 pros and 3 cons. And just to get into my final opinions of this shoe, overall, I like this shoe way more than I thought I would. Out of like the 3 Rick Owens Adidas stuff I picked up, which were the Level Runners, the Tech Runners, and these have surprisingly been the ones I've worn the most. In fact, the Tech Runners is the one I wear the least. If anyone wants to buy them, let me know. I'm trying to sell them. But this is, I think it's mostly down to how low maintenance and easy this shoe is to wear. Honestly, if you're wearing like a full triple black outfit and you just throw this shoe on, it adds so much to the outfit without taking too much attention away because of like bold colors or anything. It's a shoe that won't immediately grab your attention because of its color, but once you look at it very closely, you'll notice just how strange it is. And I couldn't love it anymore because of that. So with that, we've come to the end of another video. So I'd love to hear what you guys think of the Rick Owens Adidas Tech Runner in this triple black colorway. And if you happen to own this shoe, be sure to let me know what you guys think of this shoe and what are some of your pros and cons after wearing it. And yeah, with that, I'll catch you guys in another video.